Hey everyone, welcome back to the Junto with Scott Rattigan. I'm your host, Scott Rattigan, and I'm happy this week that I got a chance to sit down with the founder of Functional Medicine Marketing. His name is Andrew Newland, and he's got some amazing tips in this interview I did with him earlier in the week, including why organic social media posting is not the best use of your time. So we can all take a deep breath and not stress over that so much. How to improve SEO rankings on your website for free. He gives three big practical tips on how to do that, steps you can take right now with no money, and how you can take advantage of free live marketing workshops he does every week live. Just go pick his brain, ask him questions, as well as how to get leads from your community when you don't have money or technology maybe not your thing. Blogging and websites isn't your thing. How to get leads in your community without going digital. And ultimately, if you do have money, he highlights some of the questions you want to ask a marketing firm when you're considering hiring them. So, tons of practical, useful tips and information today. Some stuff that I was not aware of, and I took some from it. Not that I'm an expert. That's why we're talking to Andrew. But hope you enjoy this episode of Junto. Let's get into it. Andrew Newland is the owner of Functional Medicine Marketing and the author of the book Digital Marketing and SEO for Functional Medicine Practices. He loves the unconventional path and has big dreams to change the world. Functional medicine is the perfect fit for that and for his goals. He and his team at FMM specialize in getting your marketing right so that you can grow your practice and change the world. Welcome, Andrew.
Hey, thanks, Scott.
Hey, thanks for being here. I know that you are a great guy. We've met a few times at different conferences
Sure.
and have spoken in the past. Kind of what got you into functional medicine marketing? How did that all start? And why functional medicine?
Yeah, no, and that's a great question. So just the brief, kind of my brief history. My wife and I have always been very entrepreneurial. So out of college, we started a landscaping business here in Colorado Springs, which is where I'm from, where we live now. It was hardscaping, so we didn't do any mowing. We built new yards basically. I did landscape design, but my favorite part always in any of our business endeavors was the marketing. It really fit my personality. It was high intensity and it had a lot of communicating to people. And my degree is public speaking. And so I love talking to people. I love getting in front of people with a great message and honing in on that message. And so marketing was always a good fit for that. About 10 years ago, we decided, you know what? Let's just go to marketing full time. Let's just dive in. My wife, she graduated second degree English and speech. So communications, she's an excellent writer. She had been doing content writing for a couple different marketing agencies. And so finally we decided, you know what, let's go in, let's do our own thing. And we did. We dove in, we start just a general industry agency. So we were helping every business, right? So local businesses, used cars, public schools. I mean, it was across the board. And then we just started kind of in our personal lives, started experiencing, early 30s, started experiencing kind of the normal health problems that you start struggling with. We had four little kids at the time. Now they're all teenagers, but I was just struck with the fact that I couldn't keep up. And I was gaining weight, all of the normal symptoms that shouldn't be normal at all. And so we got, just personally for our own health, got in touch with a functional medicine doctor, and our lives completely turned around. For me, I was able to, I started getting allergies, but I lost all my allergies. I lost about 30 pounds in a couple months. I was taking ibuprofen every night for headaches and to sleep, and all that went away. And I started just getting energy and mental clarity, and that started us down the personal path of health. And so then we're like, you know what? We know marketing, and we'd love to help people with functional medicine, but we're not doctors. So what can we do? Well, let's combine what we do know and our expertise in marketing and communication to people, and help functional medicine practices grow. And that's where our mission came from. So our company mission here at Functional Medicine Marketing is to help practices help more people by getting their online marketing right. there's on the one hand, right, you've got functional medicine doctors, and they are excellent practitioners, excellent at helping people with their health and changing their lives, literally saving lives, and completely changing the culture of health in our communities. But they can't help people if nobody knows about them. And so that's where we come in, and that's our mission, is to help practices help more people by getting their online marketing right. So that's kind of the brief history there.
That's amazing. And I didn't know they had degrees in public speaking. So
Yeah.
that's most people's greatest fear. So what a great choice that was.
I prefer to be in front of 1,000 people than like 2 people. I love being on stage. I did a lot of acting too. So.
Oh, okay. I'm sure that helps.
Yeah, it does.
So, great point there about being great at what you do, but if nobody knows about it, then it's crickets. I'm kind of reminded of the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. He's like, I said I'm a best-selling author, not a best writing author. Like, my writing is crap, but I'm great at selling it. So
that's a great quote.
I think it's I forget his name, but the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. Robert Kiyosaki. There you go. Yeah. And so with that in mind, if I'm a great functional medicine doctor and I'm struggling right now, or I don't know where my next patient's coming from, what is kind of the best tools, or what is working right now in 2024? Because I know it's always changing, especially with online marketing. But what's working now in your experience?
Yeah, and that's a great question, and it's a little bit unexpected, and it's hard for people to swallow, because what has been taught in podcasts and at conferences and books is, what is the thing that you have to do to grow your practice? And everybody has said for years, social media. You have to focus on social media to grow your practice. And I am here today to tell you that you do not have to put social media, you don't have to stress about social media to grow your practice. I'm not saying that you can't use it. I'm not saying there aren't people using it, but for the normal practice that wants to grow, whether a startup or, established with multiple practitioners, social media should not be at the center of your marketing strategy. It needs to be a part of it, but not at the center.
To be clear, you're talking about like organic content posting, just like posting on social media, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I appreciate that clarification. Yeah, because there's a lot of different elements and there's a lot of different ways to use social media. You've got paid ads and you've got influencer marketing and you've got, just the organic side. But we're talking just the organic side. So that could be, posting on your Facebook page or doing an Instagram reel or whatever it is. You could post until you're blue in the face. You could post 5 times a day and not one new person that doesn't follow you, they may never see it. And that has nothing to do with your content. That has everything to do with the Meta's control, really all of them, not just Meta, so Facebook and Instagram, but TikTok, you've got Pinterest, you've got all of them. They don't really care about business pages anymore. Now, it used to be, right? When Facebook was growing, you could put content out there and Facebook wanted everybody to see it because they wanted everybody to get on Facebook longer. People are engrossed in so much content now that Facebook is no longer, and when I say Facebook, I'm talking about all of them. Facebook is no longer pushing out business pages. So a statistic for you. So if you've got 1,000 followers on your Facebook page, you'll be lucky if 5% of those followers see one of your organic posts. And that's including videos. So 5%. And those are people that already follow you. Because if it was just 5% of people in my community, that would be fantastic. But this is just 5%. So you'll be lucky if 50 people see one of your posts on Facebook. It's a little bit better on Instagram, but it's only about 9%. So 90 people. And again, those are already people that follow you. So if you're trying to reach, just posting organically on Facebook and Instagram is not a practical strategy.
I mean, that's probably welcome news to a lot of people who stress out and are like, man, how am I supposed to come up with ideas and silly quotes and backgrounds and all that? And I've got to see patients all day. So we know what's not working. Kind of what would be the pivot there then
Yeah, for sure. And we'll talk about it a little bit more, but there is a good reason for doing those posts. I'm not telling you to not do them, but you're right. I want to take all that pressure off, because I talk to people nearly every day, and and I tell them that news, and they're like, "Oh, that's so great, because I've been trying." Yeah. Or I just feel like, and I talk to a lot of office managers of practices where they've been tasked with social media, and they don't know what they're doing. They feel like it's worthless. They're getting pressure from the doctor or the business owner saying, we need more followers, we need more people, and they're trying and it's not working. So what is working? Well, we need to go to the most trusted platform for when somebody is trying to find a local business or a national business. What's the most trusted platform? It's Google. Google is the most trusted platform when somebody is ready to decide to select a business. And that's not just functional medicine. Now, it definitely is, but and that's across the board. And so that's why we do a service called SEO. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. So maybe the easy way of putting it is Google marketing. Google search marketing. And so the whole point of SEO is to get in front of more people that are searching, because we all know nobody goes to the second page of Google. Nobody's going to go to the 10th page of Google when they're looking for something. If they don't see it right up at the top, they're going to go with one right up at the top. And an interesting, which we're trying to find some specific stats on this, but there's a lot of people that will see a social media post, maybe an ad, for example, and then instead of clicking on that and going to the website, they'll see the post and get educated. Oh, there's a different way, right? Functional medicine. I've never heard about that. I want to research that some more. Where are they going to research and look for a doctor near them? Google search all day long. Mm-hmm. And so you can benefit, yes, doing that social media, but it's really necessary that you increase your ranking to get in front of people. Now, there's three different kinds of rankings on Google search. Obviously, you've got the Google ads, which are good, and we can talk about Google ads, but that has nothing to do with that organic ranking, because the prime real estate on Google's first page, the businesses that get the most clicks are going to be in that maps pack. The 3 local listings. You've got those.
So maps pack is where a map shows up and there's 3 listings at the top of a Google search, right? Before you go to a website. So it's kind of local, like near you, right?
Exactly. And the reason Google puts it up at the top, and so that's the prime real estate, is people have the attention span that's worse than a goldfish. They don't have time. They don't like to search. They just they go to a platform they trust, Google, and they go, yep, there it is. I can see where they're located. I can see some reviews. I could call or go to their website. And then, so getting into that maps pack, that's the prime real estate. And then just below that, obviously, we've got the website rankings, and that's the second part. So our SEO or good SEO programs are going to increase both your website and your Google listing to get up in those rankings and get in front of people.
Yeah, so you bring up a good point about different programs for SEO. And when I speak to physicians at Functional Lawyer or through Origis Incubator, and they say, oh, I'm paying somebody for SEO. And I'm like, okay, what does that look like? What does that mean? And so most of the time they don't know. So tell us what an SEO program might look like.
Yeah,
to get to those 3 kind of areas in Google.
Right. And that's a great question. And I find a lot of people shy away from SEO because they don't understand it. And so, one of my missions in life is to help people kind of wrap their minds around, okay, what is a good SEO program? So in a second, I'm going to give some questions. If you have an SEO company or you're thinking about hiring an SEO company, I'm going to give you the question that you're going to ask. And so that way you can find out, okay, is this a good one? I want to go into this educated enough to be able to do it. Because really, my goal with all of my education and content that I create, the book that we wrote, I don't want doctors and practitioners and office managers to do all the marketing. That's not a good use of their time. But I want them to be educated in such a way that they know how to hire a good company, and they know what questions to ask, what KPIs to look for, as they're checking up on their marketing agency.
Key performance indicators. So which stats to monitor, basically.
Exactly. Right. Yep. And obviously, we're talking to some, practice startups out there. When you're starting out, you don't have the money to hire a great marketing agency, and that's fine, and that's normal. You shouldn't feel badly about that.
Yeah, so let's come back to SEO in a second. So then for that person who has, which I won't let you forget, but for the person who has almost no budget, what is some of the low-hanging fruit that they could do to maybe it's not practical to get on page 1 of Google with no money or very low content on their site, but what would be a quick way? And you mentioned like getting followers, and we always say followers are not patients, right? They don't pay any money. And so what would be a quick way to kind of fill up a practice quickly from somebody who's like a month or two into their practice?
Yeah. No, and that's great. And what I always recommend to somebody that's starting out, I always tell them, you know what, right now when you're starting out, you've got more time and less money. So you need to do the work. You need to put in the elbow grease to get the word out there. First of all, I always tell people, don't put all of your eggs into the digital marketing basket. The practices that I see that don't succeed are ones that maybe they do some ads, maybe they do, marketing, and they've got this full head of steam, right? And they go great guns, and then they sit back and wait. And they just wait. And not once have I ever seen that work. And so being able to get into the community any chance you get to talk to people, that is building a business 101, even outside of functional and integrative, but especially in functional and integrative. You want to build that trust and that reputation. And one of the best ways is just getting in front of people. It could be networking groups. You could give talks at a local gym, maybe a yoga studio. Maybe it's just going around and introducing yourself to like-minded businesses. Could be maybe you don't do acupuncture. Go meet all the acupuncture people. Maybe you don't have massage in your clinic. Go meet them. Chiropractic. There's so many other supporting businesses. You want to get out into the community. Online, you can still get out into the community by getting on Facebook groups. It could be moms groups. It could be any kind of discussion group where you can help with value. And when you do it, make sure you're not just giving the elevator pitch about your practice and trying to sell people. You want to play the long game and build your reputation and build trust with people by giving them a lot of value, which you can do face-to-face. You can make videos and send them out to people. You can join Facebook groups, anything that you can do. One of my mentors says, stage time is money time. So anytime you can get in front of people, that is the fastest way to leverage, because you're in front of a lot of people. It's kind of like having a conversation one-on-one, but instead of one-on-one, it's 1 on 100 or whatever it is. So it's imperative that you don't put all your eggs in the digital marketing basket, but you get into the community. On the digital side, you still can do things to start promoting yourself. Yes, you need to be doing some social media posts, because it's like an extension of your website now. So people go to your website and then they go look at your social media. They go to your website, maybe they go to social media and then they go to your website. So you need good content on there. The worst thing you can do is post 2 years ago and then just let the tumbleweeds roll, right? People subconsciously assume you're not in business anymore. So it's not like you don't need to go viral. You just need good, valuable content. And then on the SEO side, there's a lot of SEO things that you can do.
So what does SEO mean to somebody who doesn't know what it is, right?
Great. So we talked about, let's, getting increased your ranking on Google search. There's kind of 3 categories that Google's looking at when it comes to how Google's going to determine to rank you. I use the illustration, you want to be like the teacher's pet at the front of the class. You want to be that kid that's waving his arms saying, ooh, 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 pick me, pick me, pick me, right? You're waving your arms. You know the answer. You're standing on your chair. That's what you want your website to be like, rather than the kid that's hiding in the back, that's not paying attention, that's just trying to avoid getting noticed. So how do we get noticed from Google? I wish there was a form that we could fill out. We could go to google.com and fill out a form that says, I'm a functional medicine or integrative practice. Here's what I do. Here's what I want to increase my rank for. And Google would just increase your rank. That would be great. I wouldn't even mind if we could bribe Google and slip them $100 bill and say, hey, can you get me in front of more people? Google kind of has that, but that's called Google Ads, and it's not bribery. It's a good platform. Instead, Google is consistently crawling through websites looking for great content to answer people's questions. So one of the first things that Google looks at is, how is your site functioning? Do you have broken buttons that don't work? Do you have very minimal content? If somebody goes on their phone, does it take a really long time to load? Those are all things that play into just real basic how Google is going to rank you. The great thing, the good news about functional and integrative when it comes to SEO is there's not a lot of competition. In the SEO world, there's not a lot of competition. Take, for example, a high competition area where, doing SEO for like a plumber or an HVAC company or used cars. I mean, the competition is massive. Or real estate, because you're fighting against massive, like Zillow, which is national or probably international. All of those, you're fighting against those. So when we compare functional and integrative, the keywords, it's pretty easy to catch Google's attention, because Google's like, I need something. And so making sure your site is functioning really well, that falls under the technical category. So I've put it into 3 different categories, or 3 pillars of SEO. You've got technical, content, and local. Those are ways that we can be the teacher's pet standing up on the chair waving our arms. So technical is making sure the website works really well. You want it to load quickly. There's a whole rabbit trail of, what website platform should you use? Should you go GoDaddy or Squarespace or Wix or WordPress or all those? Maybe that's another podcast. Yeah. You want it to load really quickly. All of those platforms have ways that you can optimize it, at least to a point. Just so you know, I prefer WordPress because we can get the most optimization out of it. But starting out, sometimes you just need something quick that you can put together yourself. Wix, Squarespace is great for that. So making sure it loads quickly. There's things in that technical category that you want to pay attention to, like the headlines that you use. Like when you set it up, there can be an H1 or H2s, and Google looks at your H1s and H2s. For those of you taking notes, you only want one H1 on each page of your site. And that H1 should be the big top level general keyword. So let's say you're in Nashville, Tennessee, you're an integrative practice. So your H1 should be integrative medicine, Nashville, Tennessee. That should be the H1.
And for those that aren't familiar, H1 is kind of just stands for like the heading, the text formatting, which a lot of people, including myself, misuse in order just to make the text bigger on websites. And so this is something that you do not want to do. I'm sure you have seen that. You don't use H1 just for making the text bigger, or H2s, I guess, either.
With every platform, you can make the text bigger without it being an H1 or an H2. But, take advantage of it, make the biggest one the obvious one, because we always want to err on the side of clarity over cleverness.
So to kind of give a visual, like if I was writing a blog post, the title of the blog would have H1. And then if I had different sections within that blog, like summary, overview, intro, chapter 1, 2, and 3, and then conclusion, those would maybe be H2s.
Yeah, the H2s would be a little bit more specific, like kind of a niche topics. If we're talking about maybe the homepage, your H1 would be, say, integrative medicine, Nashville, Tennessee. And then your H2s would be a list of your services. What do? We do functional medicine, we do IV therapy, we do chiropractic, we do acupuncture, and all of those would be listed as H2s. And then you also want a list of the symptoms or conditions that you treat. Keep in mind, we're always thinking about, okay, what are people searching? I see it all the time where somebody will use like their big tagline is get to the root cause of your health issues. And maybe that's the H1. But are people actually going to Google and typing in, I need a doctor that'll help me get to the root cause of my health issues? No, they're not. What are they putting in? Well, we found statistically, most people are putting in functional medicine near me. Functional medicine. Next would either be integrative or naturopath. Those are the next top searched keywords. But we're kind of talking. We're getting
a little deep. So we're getting technical. So we get technical,
okay.
And then content, and then local. Yes. So content. Tell me about content and how to make that better for somebody who may need to be following along and scribbling this down.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're doing it yourself, keep it simple. Write content based on, start with, here are my services. You want a page about functional medicine. You want a page about IV therapy. And then after that, then you want to start writing blogs. And you want to write blogs based on frequently asked questions. That's the easiest way. If you're doing it yourself, you don't need a bunch of keyword research. You know what people are asking when they're on the phone or they're sitting in front of you or on a virtual call. What are they asking about? Well, I can tell you, they're asking about thyroid, hormones, IBS, GERD, autoimmune, weight gain, bloating, hair loss. It's all the stuff that, doctors talk about every day. Just write content about that. Make sure that you write a decent amount of content. You don't want just a short little bit. Best practice for those of you that like to take notes of statistics is you want 900 to 1100 words on each page of your site and your blogs. But it's better to have something rather than nothing. So if you're doing it, just write and answer those questions. Don't get too creative. That's what I love about SEO. We need to be really clear. Google, it needs to be really obvious. So,
that's pretty consistent across what I've found in all levels of entrepreneurship is something is better than nothing. So just get started, I think.
Yep. And consistency is better than going great guns. And that goes for Google reviews. That goes for blog writing. That goes for social media. It would be better to do one blog a month every month than to do 4 blogs a month and then to wait 6 months before you do it again. So, So we got, again, technical, make sure the site works. Content, write about what you're talking about to your patients because that's what they're searching. Don't get too clever. Just write about it. Say, this blog is about, it's better than nothing. This blog is about IV therapy and its benefits. Great. And then we move to that next category is local SEO. Local SEO. So on your website, you want to talk a lot about where you help people. So Google's always looking, okay, what do you do and where do you do it? What do? You do functional medicine. Where do you do it? Nashville, Tennessee. Make sure you mention it. And you want to repeat it a little bit more than you might in normal conversation. But I'll do audits of sites and I'll look and I can't find where they're located at all until I get to the contact page. And then I have to click on their little map, the Google map, to actually find out where they're located. We don't want Google to ever second guess where you're located.
And so this is probably a question that you might have gotten, but I am anticipating it from the providers. Say I'm a 100% virtual practice. Is this still a good best practice for me to kind of just say the general area I'm in and a lot on my site because of this third leg of this trifecta? Or what would you say to somebody who's just all virtual?
Yeah. So when it comes to catching Google's attention, it's kind of back to the illustration of how do you eat an elephant? You eat an elephant one bite at a time. And the first bite of SEO is hyper local. Even if you are a virtual only practice, you don't have brick and mortar, you still need that Google listing and we'll talk about that in a second. And you still need to talk about where you are located. And so let's back to, maybe you're in Colorado Springs, like where I'm from. You said functional medicine, Colorado Springs, and throughout the state of Colorado. So you don't want to be misleading, because if somebody comes from Buena Vista, Grand Junction, Colorado, they shouldn't see Colorado Springs and get turned off. But we're mentioning where you help people. And so you start hyper local, because Google is obsessed with local businesses. For example, if you go to your phone or on your computer right now and you just type in functional medicine, Google, the first thing that Google's going to give you are local functional medicine businesses. It's not going to give you, just the Wikipedia dictionary definition. Instead, it's the first thing it's going to give you is local businesses, because Google knows that's what people are primarily searching for, which for you as a practice is perfect. So, so taking advantage of that hyper local and then building out from there.
So mentioning your location or service areas a lot on your site. And then I know you mentioned it, but Google business listing, which a lot of people overlook. Can you talk about that and how that works?
Yeah. So that's the other piece of local SEO, is making sure you have a Google listing, even if you don't have a brick and mortar. Just when you're setting it up, use your home address and then hide it. So you use it because Google, you have to have an actual physical address to set up a business. You can't use a mailbox or even a shared office space. Google wants only one business per address. Now, when you set it up, use your address because it's easy. And then there's a question that says, do you help people at this location, or do you go to them and you just want to show a service area? So then you just toggle that. Nobody sees the address. Nobody's going to show up to your house looking for IV therapy or something. But that gets you the listing set up. And then you can put in the service area that you help people. So it could be a city, it could be the state, it could be multiple states, it could be the entire US, the whole world if you want it. And then with that Google listing, then you want to optimize it. And so you want to make sure your description is written out. Talk about what you do, where you do it. Don't get too clever. Include specific services. And then there's an option on there that not too many people are taking advantage of. And I call it the secret sauce to local SEO. And it's doing Google listing posts. They look like a Facebook post. They kind of show up down below. Not too many people see them, but it is powerful to move the needle for your SEO by doing these posts. And they don't have to be like we think Facebook post or Instagram, and we got to be super clever and trendy. Nope. With these, you can just write a paragraph about a service that you treat, that you offer, or a condition that you treat, and then have a link to different parts of your website. And then one kind of technical thing for the advanced people out there that you can easily do actually is to geotag the photo that you use. Even if it's a stock photo or a graphic you designed on Canva, you can geotag the photo, which means you're going to stamp a latitude and longitude in the backend code of the photo. For example, let's say you are from Colorado Springs, but you go to Hawaii and somebody takes your picture and you finally like a picture of yourself, because it's really rare. I have found doctors don't like pictures of themselves. And so you're like, oh, I love this picture. I want to use it in my marketing. Let's put it on the website. Let's put it on the Google listing. And you should. The problem is, most likely, it's stamped with the latitude and longitude of Hawaii. And so if you use it in your marketing and Google's crawling through and it says, oh, you Colorado Springs, Colorado Springs, Colorado Springs, and then you've got a photo that's geotagged with a beach in Maui, we're sending a conflicting signal to Google. So we want to take that and restamp it. And there are free tools that you can go online and just go geotagging photos, and you can stamp the latitude and longitude on there. And then you put that on that Google listing post.
Okay, that's a great pearl that I don't do, and I'm going to start doing now after this conversation.
Exactly.
So, thank you for that. So we spent a lot of time so far on SEO, which is important. You can't treat people in 2024 without having a website, and a website that encourages people to contact you right? So that's a whole different conversation, which we come back to another time.
Yeah.
But for those that are like, man, I don't know how to, or want to, or have the time to figure this out, this is something I imagine that you do for people, that kind of done for you service?
For sure. Yep, absolutely. So we help people in whatever stage they're at. So for startups, we can get you a website going. We can help you set up your platforms. We have some ongoing training. We have our own CRM, so you can email people. It's kind of an all-in-one marketing platform. So that's kind of some lower cost things to get you started. I answer a lot of questions. I do a weekly like marketing workshop that anybody can come to, diving into all of these things, answer any questions that come up. So that's kind of that startup level. For those that are busy and need to hire, we are a full service agency. So we do, building websites. We do that full SEO. We write content for doctors and practices. So again, that's kind of that busy piece that takes a lot of time. We're never going to just give you a topic and make you write about it. We also do Google ads, Facebook and Instagram ads. We do organic social media posting. I'm not opposed to it. It just needs to be in the right category. We also do email and texting, content marketing, and graphic design. So whether it's support done with you or done for you, yep, we have all those opportunities.
Yeah, and I know when we spoke earlier, you mentioned that workshop. That's a open to the public workshop.
Yep, absolutely. So on our website, so functionalmedmarketing.com is our website. Up at the top, you'll see resources. We've got a lot of different resources. We have free checklists for marketing checklists. We have a link to our book that you can get on Amazon. But we also have a link where you can sign up for that weekly marketing workshop. Just a name and an email, and you can join live or you can watch the recording. I do those weekly on Fridays.
Or you can send your office manager to that one. Right.
And that's exactly perfect. Yeah. Send your office manager for sure.
Exactly. Once you get there. So this is great. I mean, in fact, reaching out locally, that's kind of what we teach at Incubator, our mentoring program. And Linda just, we just kind of stumbled upon that. And it's not a new concept by any means, but it's certainly, if this is overwhelming to you, then certainly you can, as Andrew said, just go out and just introduce yourself in the community. And if you're virtual only, still do that. You can introduce yourself digitally, send a Loom video, make it personalized, and really just show how you can help them. How can they win from showcasing you to their audience? Is a big way to kind of get the foot in the door. Like, hey, I'm going to advertise your business and bring people to your business, or you can co-host it, and nobody's going to say no to free eyeballs on their business, especially when they don't have to do any work. You have the talk already prepped up and ready to go, and they just have to tell people about it. It's a win-win for them. So that's amazing. If you're overwhelmed with all the tech stuff, I think you went into great detail so far on how they could do it on their own if they were able to kind of follow along that way. And then if they do want to look for somebody, I think, you are a full service firm, but, what are you teased earlier, and I want to come back to it. What are some good questions to ask a marketing firm when they're interviewing and looking to hire them?
Yeah. So, again, SEO can be really confusing. And so being ready with some questions when you're talking to, because hopefully you maybe are sitting there going, okay, I'm convinced. I wasn't able to follow all of the specifics there, but I'm convinced that I need to definitely get in front of people on Google. Okay, I'm going to go interview and look at SEO companies or companies that do SEO as part of their service, which is great. But you want to make sure you're ready because a lot of times SEO companies, I'll put air quotes on there, are just doing one little element of SEO. There's 100+ different tasks that can be done for SEO. And maybe they're just doing one or two, which isn't necessarily bad, but it's not going to necessarily move the needle all that much. And the normal thing that most SEO companies do is what's called citation management. Citation management is making sure that your name, address, and phone number, your business name, address, and phone number are consistent across the entire internet. So there are listings for you and your business out there that you have no idea that got set up, that got automatically set up when you started your business. I like to say, if you've ever changed your business name, if you've ever changed locations, if you've ever blinked, if you've ever eaten any kind of food, you have listings out there that are probably incorrect. And so you want to go out there and get those listings and make sure the name, address, phone number, and website is accurate. So that's citation management. A lot of companies are saying they do SEO, and they'll send you a bunch of reports and a bunch of audits and tell you about the citation. And that's it. So what you need to ask them is, what are you doing for technical, content, and local? What are you doing for technical, content, and local? We do it. We do something on each of those monthly. Some great companies have it set up a little bit differently, where they do heavy technical at the beginning, and then it's more content and local as time goes on. That's great, but they should be able to answer that question with specific tasks. Okay, here's what our program looks like for technical, content, and local. So that's a great question to ask.
Do you have an example of kind of someone that came to you and everything was terrible? And so kind of like walk people through what your process would look like if someone came to you with nothing or tried it on their own and kind of messed it up.
Yeah, and in this case that I'm going to tell you, they tried multiple agencies before us, and were just flabbergasted, just frustrated. They tried lots of different Facebook ads. They followed a bunch of different kind of online programs that claimed, if you follow our process, then everything will be perfect and you'll grow and you'll get tons of new patients. They're more of a high ticket functional medicine, so they didn't really do membership at the time. More high ticket, thousands of dollars for each program to get people in. They were getting about one new high ticket patient a month, if that. It kind of depends on the year, kind of the roller coaster of people, at maybe one. So we were able to jump in and primarily do SEO. We supported SEO with some Facebook ads. So SEO, full SEO, like we talked about, technical, content, and local, and then supporting with Facebook ads to get just general awareness out there, get the word out there in front of people. And we were able to take them in about, I think it was 10 months, take them from less than one new patient a month to 10 plus new patients a month. And that's a great illustration of the power of SEO. It also, make sure you have the right expectation on SEO. It's slow. That's 10 months. So it's not a faucet that you just go and, turn. It takes time, significant time.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And so it probably should be kind of paired up with the elbow grease introduction kind of stuff that you mentioned earlier as well. I mean, there's tons of ways to go about it. I think having kind of one eye on the future and one eye on the present is a solid strategy, and one that I just stole that from the Tampa Bay Rays, who just churn out prospects and always shuffling their roster, and they always say we have one eye on the future and one eye on the present, and try to make ourselves good today and good tomorrow. So take a baseball strategy from that.
Yeah, exactly. I like to say SEO solves next year's problems because it's the long game. And in my weekly marketing workshop, I talk about the tortoise method. You got the fable of the tortoise and the hare, and the hare never wins. And in marketing, we're always following the hare, and there's ads all the time, and you'll see them that says you can get 30 new patients in 30 seconds for 30 cents, or we'll buy you a boat, or whatever.
Yeah,
I've seen that, or we'll buy your practice. Drives me
I've seen that
nuts.
One.
Yeah, exactly. Because I could generate a bunch of leads for you too. And they're just junk leads. They don't call back. They don't show up for appointments. Now, those may work for some kind of practices, but normally for functional medicine, it's not going to work. You need it's a higher ticket item. You need to get people in the door that you can have a conversation. So that's the hair. There's a lot of flashy things. There's lots of magic pills and silver bullets, and you got to do all this. And if you haven't tried them, most likely you will go try them. And then you'll come to your senses and go, it's not working. I've tried everything. We've dumped a bunch of money in there. And that's the perfect time for you to buckle down and get up on top of the tortoise and put your big boy pants on and start doing the hard work of good marketing. To grow a business in 2024, it is hard work.
I mean, it's hard work. To bring it back to a functional medicine analogy, it's kind of like, sure, you can do a 3-day fast or a 7-day fast, but is that sustainable for your long-term health? Will you just binge at the end of that fast as well? So kind of like long-term changes in success is worth building slowly and something you can sustain, rather than a different topic for another conversation or episode would be, people that try something, reach the valley of despair, and then look for another grass is greener tool or process or something else, and then can never be successful, get through that valley of despair up into success or achievement, because they're always hopping off the boat midstream there. So this is great, Andrew. We appreciate it, and I want to respect your time. Where can we find you out there on the interwebs with your SEO on your website?
Yeah. Well, if you just Google functional medicine marketing, we'll come up. But our website is functionalmedmarketing.com. And we have lots of resources, free resources at different levels. And anytime, I love making videos. I'm a public speaking major. And so I like to make a lot of content, and I answer questions for free. And so those questions, even if it's how do I get access to my Google listing, or, I can't seem to connect my Instagram to my Facebook, we can help you with all of those. And most of the time, answering questions is free. So you can always shoot me an email. So andrew@functionalmedmarketing.com, or go to our website and you can actually text me. My cell number is on my website. You can text me anytime.
That's brave, man. That's brave. All right. So go check out Andrew Newland at Functional Medicine Marketing, which the website is functionalmedmarketing.com, but we'll put all that wherever this show is located. And thanks for being here, Andrew.
Loved it. Thanks, Scott.
What a great conversation with Andrew. I hope you got as much out of it as I did in talking to him. For more on Andrew, his website is functionalmedmarketing.com. You can find all the links in the show notes and the transcript at functionallawyer.com/Junto. That's functionallawyer.com/Junto. And make sure, so that you never miss a future episode, hit subscribe, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, Apple Playlists, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can always follow us at functionallawyer.com as well. And we'll see you in the next episode.